G'day guys, today I'm going to teach you how to make an avatar using Photoshop elements. So an avatar can represent you without letting people know exactly what you look like. So here's how you do it using Photoshop. And it's good for beginners.
Before we start, we need to make a duplicate of the background when we open the picture so we can edit on it. Then using the pen tool, you trace the outline of the face. Like this, and you just go all the way around and complete the shape. Then after that, you press right click, and there's a button that should say make selection, and you just do Ctrl C on that and you paste it, and then you can just make a color overlay and use the color of the face as the basis for the color. So you just click on the part of the skin that's the same color of the face, and there you have it. You have a base for the face. So next is we go to the neck part. So the way we have to do this is we have to section various parts of the model. So for this, I separate the face, the neck, the torso, the clothing, the accessories on the head, and various other parts. So doing that allows us to manipulate the layers very easily and allows us to add more details later. So we begin tracing the neck like what we did last time, and just doing some cleaning. Feel free to add some creative flair. Sometimes you don't have to be following the model itself. You can just use the model as a reference to do something or to make someone you want to make. And for this, I'm not gonna add so much details to the crown, and I'll just make everything look much simpler in contrast to this attire. So you just trace a rough outline of the part. So this part, I will name this part the shoulder accessory. So yes. So you just use one shade of orange. So let that be as is for now, and you trace this green part. So when you make these layers, and when you're done making and you have done all the layers you need to for that certain region, make sure to put them in a group so that you won't be confused later on. So then you put some dark or shadows on the lower part, because I don't want to put too much detail, because this vector art I like to make it more minimalistic. So I took out there are effects in this costume that are very noisy for me, so I make them much more simpler, and I hope you like it as much as I do. So you trace the hand. You can just make the hand as a sample for the form, but you don't have to particularly do the size of the hand. So you can make the hands more thinner. You can apply what you use on cartoons when making a vector art. You can basically manipulate the face to look prettier, uglier, and just the way you see fit, and just continue experimenting on what best looks. And there we have it. So you also can use the shapes, because after you edit the shapes, you cut them out and you paste them again, you put the color overlay, then you just right click on the layer and you rasterize the layer, and then you can just quick select it whenever you want, and you can delete the layers on the back of it or in the front of it just by making a quick select of that layer and going through other layers and deleting them and pressing just delete. So it clears out any layers that intersect with that layer, so you have more space to edit. Then this time I'm not using the pen tool but the elliptical tool, so it'll be much easier to make circles. And there we have it. We have a rough base for our model. So the next part is very tasking, so we make the minor details. We put some shadows, we put more colors, but we have to keep things much more simple, so it'll be more friendly to the eyes. So as you can see, I'm skipping a lot of details, but I'm keeping the best ones, so it won't look too far from our model. Then what I'm using is a pattern overlay in the effects. So if you're wondering if you forgot how to access effects, then you just double click the layer and the effects menu should appear. And in the bottom of the layers panel, there's also an icon that says FX. You can also use that. Then here I'm using a drop shadow and an inner shadow to kinda not make it look too flat, but don't be afraid to make it look flat because it's an icon. Mostly vector arts are alike to icons, so you don't have to really do much more to make them more three-dimensional. So here I'm using references for the eyes from the internet. So I'm using anime eyes, but we're not gonna be really using that. We're just doing that as references to see which part of the eye should we use or outline. So here I deleted the eye and traced the outlines for the eyes of our model. Then this is elliptical tool and deleting the bottom of it, some of it. And there, we rasterize this layer and we put some pattern overlay, and there we have it. We have good eyes. So here I am experimenting the nose. So there are lots of ways to do nose, and this first parts of doing this nose is I don't like it particularly, so I deleted it. I'll just go right back again. So I'm doing the lips. Then just do when you're doing details, feel free to delete when you don't like it. So here I'm just using the outline of the highlights on the nose to basically just tell the audience that there is a nose on this person. So that should be enough. Then as you're nearing the end, so you have to keep in mind that there are other parts of the body that are darker than others, so you can add more shadows to add more depth to the image. And you can also use gradients on the skin so it won't look so flat, but I'm particularly okay with making it flat because it's a vector art, and for me it's very pleasing to have a flat image when you're using vector art. So here I'm just tracing the skirt so to make it more, to add more design to the overall image. You don't have to be really obedient to what the image looks like. You can just tweak it to what you like, what you see fit. So here I'm just tracing the oranges. And there we have it. We're almost done. Just minor tweaks, minor design changes, and some pattern overlays, some gradients to make it look not that simple. So here I'm adding a pattern overlay to an already orange layer to make it look more three-dimensional, but it's still flat. So we keep that flat theme up. Then there we're almost done, and just we have the background, then we frame it, and if we really want to make it an avatar, then we just crop that out, and we have one. And I'm adding frames to make it pop out, so to make it look like it's going out of the picture frame. So here's what it looks like.
And to finish things up, a quick reminder, please save your work as you edit so you won't have any wasted time. Thank you so much, and here's the final output.